Well, I love each week when we gather together because we get to hear from different voices in our community, and I'm just a facilitator here, and I love to get to facilitate community and letting you hear from different voices in our community that I believe are helping us to see and to hear about Jesus in new and fresh ways. And about 2 months ago, I met a young man who has had a deep impact on my life already, just in a short time. I have the privilege, something I love to do every day, is to get to stand before students at Lipscomb University and teach. I love to teach, and I love to think maybe that I have something to offer, but what happens almost daily, Julio, you know this because you teach as well, and Leonard and some of you in here are teachers, you know how this goes. But so often we end up with the ones that become the student because our students have so much to say and so many ways that they shape us and mold us. And so a couple of months ago, I had the privilege of meeting someone that I didn't get to have in class as a student, but in my role at Lipscomb over the last couple of months, my new role, I had the privilege of meeting Corey. And as Corey and I began to get to know each other, he began to tell me a little bit about his life and his family and what he believes. And he said he felt like God was really speaking to him to share more openly about his faith. And so I said, Corey, I think I've got an opportunity for you. How about you come and sit with us at the well one Sunday morning and also one Sunday night and share your faith with us. And Corey, you remember that moment as well as I do because you got very emotional, and so did I. Corey kind of just began weeping out loud at the opportunity to be here with you tonight. And it meant that much to him to be able to share. So I want you to meet Corey tonight. Corey recently graduated from Lipscomb University with a degree in marketing, and tonight he's going to share not really his education in business or marketing. He's going to share what the business, what Jesus has been up to in his life, and I want you to hear tonight a story and some words of encouragement and faith. And Corey, you've already meant so much to me. I know you and I haven't spent a whole lot of time together, but in those times that we have, you've impacted me greatly already. And I know the words that you have to say tonight are going to bless those that are here. I'm glad your family is here tonight. We want to welcome you guys. So glad that you're here tonight. And in sharing community, we have so many different voices that are a part of speaking faith. And the one that you're going to hear tonight is not one that claims to be polished and to have it all figured out. What you're going to hear is, just like we all are, a work in progress. And so Corey is going to just share out of the rawness and the tenderness of his journey. And so I would invite you right into the middle of that. So Corey, we want to give you a warm welcome. I'm going to bring the mic down here to you. So help me welcome Corey.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, I did this morning too. So first of all, just give Rob Touchstone a round of applause. Because he's impacted me about the same or maybe even more than I've impacted him. And he wasn't kidding when he said that I broke down crying. And I'm going to try not to do that tonight because, well, I've already done this once and I should know how this goes. I know. But I don't know exactly where to start. I guess I'll start, sophomore year of high school. I was very, not lonely, but I kept to myself most of the time. I had a handful of friends, not really close people that I spent a lot of time with. And then I went out for burgers one night, and and then I met a girl that didn't know it at the time, but means a lot to me, even though she moved away quite some years ago now. Because, and guys, I'm sorry, but this is gonna be different than the morning session. I apologize already, but getting back to the story. So I met this girl kind of by happenstance. I remember the day like it was literally yesterday, me and my father were going to meet some people for a barbecue. And for whatever reason that fell through. And neither of us were very hungry, and I didn't really want to get all dressed up. So we ended up going out for burgers. And before we even got in the car, I met a girl and her mother. I would be very mistaken if I would tell her mother. But the girl obviously got to know her a lot better. And her name is not important, to be honest with you. She does stuff and did stuff and continues to do stuff without even knowing it. That has impacted my journey. And I would be remiss if I didn't point that out. You know, it's the fun stuff that I might not cry through. I guess the second step on my journey, quote unquote, is February 13th, 2011. I woke up for whatever reason at 7:30, something like that, to go to church because I figured I was at look, now I better act the part. I don't know if I'm too close to the mic or whatever, but I ended up going, and long story short, I ended up getting baptized. Why? Because a pretty blonde girl said, "You ought to get baptized." So I did. What? But I never have regretted getting baptized when I did. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt, thank you very much, I'm like kicking something. I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that at that time, I did not fully grasp what I was getting into. I thought this would be a way to get to know the girl better, and yeah, everything else would figure itself out. I would do the God thing if it felt like it, and on other days I would have a headache and just not want to go. But it goes far beyond that, because that same year, and I'm rambling more than I did for the morning session, but whatever. That same year, I happened to be looking for an elevator, because, you know, I'm me. I need an elevator. I can't go up and down the stairs, because that's not something that is very comfortable for either party. So I was looking for an elevator, and I actually asked one of the girls that got me baptized, one of her friends, but I only knew him as the friend of the girl because his name didn't matter. Well, it turns out that he came to the morning session. He does not know that he is getting such a grand part in this, but he came to the morning session. He had to work tonight, but he has impacted my life in more ways and doing more menial tasks, one of which includes taking me to the bathroom when I need to go. He has impacted my life in more ways than I can count, and to repay him, because I've known him for 4 years, and I know stuff about him, what makes him tick. I give him sarcasm. I joke with him. And I'm like, dude, I accept you for who you are. And the way I am, if I accept people, you get backed on a little bit. But he's done more than I can explain in however long y'all are willing to sit here and listen to me ramble. So I'm gonna move on. But it wasn't until the summer of, and stay with me, I'm skipping ahead. The summer of 2012 that I fully began to grasp what was happening. My parents were away at actually getting my brother into college because he was a freshman at the time. And they were away, and I'd arranged it to where this same guy I was talking about earlier could bring me to this camp, and I didn't exactly know what to do with him when I got there, but he would be at the camp. So it turns out that he ended up backing out at the last moment, and I arranged for other people to take care of me for the week. Without getting too deep, because I've rambled enough, without getting too deep, I took away from that camp the passion and the enthusiasm that I hope comes out of my speech tonight. And yes, guys, that was just the opening paragraph. So let's get into why I'm up here. Well, I'm obviously up here because I can't walk and I'm blind. That's what the outsider would say. I would hope that the insider would see my just overall passion for what I'm doing. And let me stop right here and tell you that it doesn't, guys, it could be, I know about half the room, but it could be any one of you. It doesn't have to be me. My situation got me here. My drive and determination has really led me to do this with the same passion that I do everything in life. Before I forget, and I know that this is just disjointed, but it has a good message at the end, I promise. Before I forget, there was this blonde girl, and about half the room knew what I'm talking about, because I talk about her all the time. So we're hanging out, you know, just me and her. And she took me to church. Her brother took me to church, and he went off to do his thing and left me with her. And little did I know it at the time, how did that abandonment become one of the greatest lines ever uttered by a human being? And I'm not kidding. It was that good. So I'm sitting there talking to her, and I'm like, I started out almost every conversation with, I have a question. And then she would say, what's your question? So, I mean, usually it would be like, I like pie, or do you like pie, or do you like apples, or something, you know, here's the sky blue. That's a fun one. But, for whatever reason, I asked her what the meaning of life was. And she flipped me upside down because this thing can go upside down. It's amazing. We will not demonstrate that today. But she put me upside down. And she said some of the best words, I'm not that way. Some of the deepest words that still to this day, you know, heck of a lot to me. She said, the meaning of life is to serve God and have fun doing it. So, yeah, not that big a deal. Just told me the meaning of life there. And for whatever reason, be it that she was hurt, or be it that it really stuck with me, I could not get this phrase out of my head. So I started telling people, and as I started telling people, I got more and more of an urge to just preach, regardless of who was listening. I got an urge to preach and started booking gigs. I don't know the technical term for it, but I started. They started letting me speak at Wednesday Night Devos and a few others right across the street here, and that was fun. The first one was literally, I called it a love letter to my friends, and I'm like, that was good. There's a fire here. There's something to come of it. So I just did my thing, and I liked it so much I did it 2 years later. And basically, at the end of the second one, be it whether my dog died like a month before, or be it overwhelming passion for what I was saying, it could be a mixture of both. At the end of it, I broke down crying. And I'm like, this is going to be the last time that I ever do something like this. The last time that I will ever look at these people in the eye and be able to impact them. And, guys, I hate to say it, but God had another plan. And I fully believe that his plan is being lived out in me every day. Okay. Here's the part where my friends are awesome. I hang out with people that, and I don't know if there's anybody here that might be offended by this, but I promise I mean nothing by it. I hang out with people that I've been told by a high-ranking official that will not be named that why do you hang out with these people? They're basically broken. Look, system doesn't want them. Well, that's needless to say, rubbed me about 5 weeks from Sunday. So, what I ended up doing is I told the people that were involved in what was going on, hey, so-and-so said that it's about you, and needless to say, that got ticked off. So I'm like, guys, I don't know if this will do anything, but I'm going to run a renegade chapter. And that is literally what I called it. It wasn't for chapel credit. We stowed away in like a room in Elam upstairs. And literally prayed, talked for an hour. And I had everybody from homosexuals to atheists to by curious show up to this thing. And I'm like, guys, you really are. And I started quoting the parable of the lost sheep. And I did that for about an hour. Maybe less. Maybe more. I don't know. But I remember the Facebook status I had about it. And the Facebook status literally said, the fire's back. Something lit in me again. Sorry, I haven't drunk anything in like all day. But I started realizing that this is a fire that is only going to intensify. And I don't know how, I didn't know how I was going to do this and marketing at the same time. So, my parents went out of town again. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, you're just not getting a big part in this. I'll circle back around to how awesome they are later. Trust me. So my parents are out of town again, and I'm actually with a mutual friend of ours that Rob knows very well, and I have grown to know over the years very well. He actually stepped in to the morning session, even though he had to work. So, yeah, he's a nice guy. Anyway, he said, and I quote, if you're interested in this ministry thing, give Rob Touchstone an email or friend him on Facebook, whatever the hip thing to do was 6 months ago. I don't know what it was. I've already rambled more than I have in the previous session, but I have y'all all sitting here, so I'll continue. Yay! Long story short, I emailed Rob, and he had just had a new baby, and job transition, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't remember, to be honest. So, I emailed him. I remember this like it was yesterday too. I emailed him at least twice, maybe 3 times, saying, we've never met, but I want to meet you because Ron says you're amazing, and anything Ron says is okay by me. So we end up meeting like a month, 2 months later, and I start telling him the story, obviously more in detail, but I don't know how I'm going to make this segue, but I will anyway. What God has taught me through those experiences that I've mentioned and so many more is you can find God literally anywhere you look, as long as you look hard enough. If you look in the soul of a person that claims to not know God with a flashlight and maybe some actual talking to them, that's not done much nowadays. But if you search for God in a person, you will find it. Their light might be dimmer than other people, but that's just because they haven't been exposed to who God is and who Christ is. And so, getting back to my ragtag group of friends, what I've learned is, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you've done. Let me see if you remember this from the previous session, because they quoted it 4 times, so I should remember it. What I said earlier was, it doesn't matter where you are, and it doesn't matter where you think you are. In your walk with God, God will find you where you are and accept you. God will find you where you are and accept you where you've been and get you where you need to be. And I don't know. I'm serious, guys. When I say anyone can be up here, I literally mean anyone. If my mom wanted to take the bike, she could say some embarrassing stories on me, I'm sure, but she could say what God means to her, and it would be completely different than what God means to me. It's because we've led different stories and we've built our own lives, and our experience shapes our view of God. And just because you, okay, I'm gonna have to think of an example. I promise I'm not calling anybody out. Let's say you have done something and been exonerated for it. Well, God sees that, and God knows that, but He accepts you for doing it. He doesn't like the fact that you did it. I mean to paint no picture of a God that accepts the actual act of failing, but that's the point, guys. God accepts us and finds us where we are and will mold us into the people. It might take weeks, it might take years, it might take decades, but He will mold us into the people we are meant to be. And I think that goes for really anybody in here. And this is where I shut up. But I do want to say one more thing. I will be around because, well, I haven't eaten yet. Quite frankly, I'm hungry. But your stories are important to me, and I cannot stress that enough. So if you're willing to sit down with me for 5, 10, 15 minutes, hang on. If you're willing to sit down with me for even 2 minutes and let me hear part of your journey, I would love that. Because, guys, my journey is not over. It's just beginning. And my favorite part is taking the roads that nobody expected to take and meeting such brilliant people. Alex, stand up. I'm serious. Stand up. This is the boyfriend of a very, 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 very close friend of mine. I commandeered him for the day. He's been my chauffeur for the day. And I did not expect that. I did not demand that he do that. But he did that. And guys, that's just one example of the lives, and you can sit down if you want, of the twists and turns my life takes. I might not get it done the conventional way, and I might need help along the way, but as long as I remain faithful and never forget the higher purpose, God will get me where I need to go. So, in closing, I just want to thank Julio Rivas. Stand up. This man, that's it. He was my finance teacher about 2 years ago. He did not have to come. He wanted to come because my name was attached to it. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Guys, half of my professors and really, really, really annoying friends, you know who you are. Everybody stare at him.
It's 6 o'clock. I gotta leave in a minute, so wrap up.
I do not preach on your schedule. Sorry, that's not how this works. But I'm almost done, I promise. What I was going to say next was simply that I've got teachers here, and friends and colleagues, and I'm not going to say the second one, but I've got people here, to my knowledge, I haven't done the yet, but to my knowledge that literally I have not corresponded with in 2 years, 3 years, maybe even longer. And it just means so much to me that they came and let me share this rather long and strenuous story with you. And I wasn't kidding about the wanting to get to know the people that are here. If I can help you in any way, shape, or form, I'll be around for a bit after. I really do want to meet you and get to know you and find out what you thought, because, guys, I promised I wouldn't say this, and here I go saying it, and it's on video camera, so it's here forever. Guys, when I preach or speak or whatever, the way God works and the way my relationship with God works is I will forget what I say literally 5 minutes after I put the mic down. I like it that way. It keeps things fresh. But, I mean, in closing, and I really do mean it this time, my goal is, and I've told Rob this several times, is if I impacted one person in here in a positive way, then I've done God's work. And that's really all that matters to me, is that I was able to impact one person. Sorry for the 50 or so others in here, but what really bothers me is that when most preachers preach, they preach to a crowd, which is normal. You want to get the most bang for your buck, but they don't stop. And with the exception of Rob and a few others, and I'm not just throwing that in there, but with the exception of Rob and a few others, preachers do not take the time to get to know the individual stories that God has led him to. And in my opinion, that's the best part. Bye, Bennett.
Goodbye, Corey.
So I'm really done now, but I'm gonna pray for you. So give me 30 more seconds to time. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray for all these people, the ones that I know and have known for years, the ones that I'm getting to know, and the ones that I don't know and will get to know. And finally, I pray for those people that I will never get to meet. May you keep your light in them alive, and may you guide them somewhere where their light can shine bright. Amen.
Corey said his goal was if he could impact one person in the room, that it would be a blessing to him. But I have a feeling that it's been a whole lot more than one. If you've been impacted, would you help me? You know, I think that what we just experienced has been, and I want to say this as much to you, Corey, as much to everybody, but I think what we've just experienced is a whole lot like what we see in the early church, where people are trying to figure this whole thing out about what it means to follow Jesus. And you've got a Jesus who's called fishermen and tax collectors and people who don't have it all figured out in life. And I imagine them sitting around and talking openly about their faith without all of the official religious language and just telling the story of their lives. And that's what Corey has just done for us. And I've seen Jesus in that in so many ways.
Thank you very much.
And so you've led us tonight to a very special place, which is a place where we gather in community and we share a very important part of community, which is something we call communion. And I imagine Jesus' first followers after Jesus has ascended to heaven and left things in their hands, these guys that are figuring it out, these disciples who are trying to know how to advance this kingdom that He's left in their hands, and someone takes out bread and someone takes out wine, and they say, guys, let's remember the story. They're sitting at home, or they're sitting in their favorite coffee house in first century Israel. They're sitting in a marketplace, and they're wondering, how do we do this? We don't know. And we kind of begin with confession tonight to say we don't have all this figured out, this how to do church and how to follow Jesus perfectly, even 2,000 years later. But we say tonight that we want with all of our heart to do what you said. We want to love God, and I love what your friend told you, and to have fun doing it. You know, Jesus certainly had a lot of things to say about taking up our cross and following Him. And most of the times when He tells His disciples that this is going to cost them their lives, they don't get it. They don't have the capacity to understand that, much like we don't when we try to think of that today. But Jesus didn't just teach us how to die, even though that is a foundational part of it. He taught us how to live. He taught us how to sit together in community and to enjoy the presence of one another. And that's what we've done tonight with you, Corey, is we've enjoyed your presence. Just you being here in our midst has been a gift and a blessing. And did you hear what Corey offered to you? He offered his presence back. He said, you know, if I could just get to know you, if I could just spend a few minutes with you. And that's what we're about here, is community and loving each other and meeting each other right where we are. So thank you for leading us to the table. So as we move into the next few moments together, we take out bread and we take out cup and we say, let's remember how Jesus taught us how to live. And let's remember how Jesus taught us how to die. And so we're going to pass around some bread and some cup. We've got it right over here. We invite you, if that means sharing in conversation at your table, something that you just heard Corey share that gave you a glimmer of the presence of Jesus. Or maybe it's a song that Maeva's going to lead us that you just want to sing along and enjoy the communion of worship. Or maybe it's a quiet moment where you bow your head and pray. Whatever it may be in this moment, we celebrate a Jesus who has come close, who has come near. I believe tonight in the very presence of Corey as his mouthpiece to speak to us. So thank you for being his voice tonight. We've heard from Jesus by hearing from you tonight, I have no doubt. And so we take this bread and we remember a body that was given for us, and we say tonight that this body is the very reason that we can confess our brokenness. As we break this bread, we remember that we too are broken. And we don't have to hide that. We don't have to say tonight that we have to wear a mask or pretend to be something that we're not. I love how Corey described the kind of people that he wants to hang around, because Corey, those are the kind of people that I want to be around too. People that are like me, trying to figure things out. People that are honest about being broken. And so tonight we just bring it all together and say we all have a lot of work that needs to be done in our lives. But praise be to God that Jesus meets us where we are. And it's through His grace that we celebrate in this bread and this cup that we have hope in life. And that we have our identity. And that we can really know who we are. So in these moments of community and communion, we invite you to share bread and share cup in whatever way that you feel compelled tonight. Maeva's going to lead us in a song, so feel free to sing along if you'd like, or feel free again to have a quiet moment or to share with someone who is nearby. So Maeva, if you'll lead us and we'll share in communion.